Hong Kong Racing's flagship event, the Longines Hong Kong International Races, is just 2 months away and already the countdown has begun. Here's what we've got coming up for you on this edition of HK Direct. And we look at the road to the Hong Kong International Races with Graham Cunningham, both locally and also to some clues from overseas. Great to have Graham Cunningham joining me in the studio. And Graham, it was also super to see Hong Kong's best horses, or some of Hong Kong's best horses, out on the track on Monday. Yeah,
it's nice to be back with you, Edward. And Monday served as a fantastic launch pad for some of Hong Kong's brightest stars, and they really did shine.
Let's have a look at some of those races. Then we'll start off with the Celebration Cup, Group 3 over 1,400 metres. A strong renewal of the race. For mine, there's two horses to really take out of it. First of all, the brilliant return of the Horse of the Year in Beauty Generation, and also the Derby winner, Ping Hai Star, having his first run for the season.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And whichever test you like to use, whether it's the eye test, the time test, or the weight test, Beauty Generation, Horse of the Year, passes with flying colours. He doesn't have to lead. He took a lead from California Whip. He put a very good field in huge trouble, as you can see, when he quickens on demand, 250 out. And he comes home a massively impressive winner under a big weight. Really good effort from Ping Hai Star under his bare minimum trip. So all sorts of enthusiasm to be drawn from these performances. But this horse now, Beauty Generation, he was Horse of the Year, but it took him a while to chisel his way into people's affections. He's there now, and he's now at the peak of his powers, I feel.
He's a super honest horse. He goes forward, he makes his own luck, and he wins these races, doesn't he, from the 600 to the 400. He pinches that break and then just sustains that run.
Exactly. He's a very easy horse to warm to. And in terms of form, his Group 1 wins are very, very high-class form. But that performance, giving lots of weight to a very good field, stands out as the best performance of his career so far.
Back-to-back wins in the Celebration Cup for him, but this time carrying 20 pounds more. Let's put it into context as well, the performance, because he's now Hong Kong's highest-rated horse on a rating of 132. Abel Friend, the highest-rated horse ever in Hong Kong. He joined some elite horses from the last 10 years with a rating like that.
Yeah, I thought this graphic would give people a really good idea of where he fits in recent years and his ascent. The 132 Plus Club, not one of your favourite haunts in Wan Chai, a clear graphic.
You took me there that night.
Of the superstars. Able Friend, 138. Ambitious Dragon, 134. Egyptian Ra, Viva Pataka, Designs on Roll, Military Attack. Beauty Generation has worked his way into Hong Kong's Premier League. Only 7 horses in the last decade have achieved that mark. And who's to say he's finished improving?
Exactly. As far as the runner-up, Ping Hai Star, he'll go to the Cup. Beauty Generation goes to the mile, so separate paths for them. John Size would have to have been pleased with the way Ping Hai Star finished.
Absolutely. He came into the race with the profile of more of a stayer, and that's exactly how he ran. So some big days ahead for him. I think John Moore with Beauty Generation and John Size with Ping Hai Star can take massive, massive encouragement from those runs. And
also with Beauty Generation, feel for mine that he's beaten locally the best milers that we've got, the ones that he'll come up against. Rise High, Ping Hai Star, Ping Wu Spark, Singapore Sling weren't there. He'll take them on later on. But for mine, his main rivals locally, he beat on Monday.
Yeah, he can be beaten. We've seen that in the past. And he'll be giving lumps of weight to some very good horses next time out in the Sha Tin Trophy. He might be vulnerable in the Jockey Club Mile. He'll have a Group 1 £5 penalty. But when it comes to levels you devils, level weights in the big one, the Longines Hong Kong Mile, he has set the bar high for any horse from Hong Kong or further afield.
You mentioned the Sha Tin Trophy. That's the race he's going to head to next. Mouth-watering clash between him and Pakistan Star.
It's crazy to think, Edward, that the best 1,400 miler in Hong Kong, Horse of the Year, on the back of a career best performance, may not even be favourite for his next run, because he's the king of the milers. But some people feel the ace is back in 2 weeks, and Pakistan Star, and remember, Pakistan Star will receive £5 in that race.
Going to be a super exciting race. Looking forward to that. As far as the sprinters are concerned, they went around in the National Day Cup over 1,000 metres down the straight. It was built as a race in two between John Size's sprinters in Hot King Prawn, the up-and-coming type, against last season's champion sprinter NI Victory. And I think we got the race we wanted.
Absolutely. Just to set the scene, Edward, these two horses came into this race with a combined record of 13 wins from 15 attempts. But the key number was, I think, 16 pounds that Hot King Prawn received from iVictory. iVictory travelled beautifully for a long way. Hot King Prawn made the most of that weight concession. He's a super relaxed horse. His temperament is very unusual for such a fast horse. He takes everything in his stride, gives you loads of optimism that he'll last the course. But if these two meet again in a few weeks' time, iVictory will be better off at the weights. And I was massively impressed by iVictory. He has got that sort of cruising speed that you seldom see in a sprinter. He's only had 8 or 9 runs. He's only 5. He is entering prime time, I think, now.
Take nothing away from Hot King Prawn as well, too. That was his first run at group level. He's come out, he's won. Karis Teeton on screen there gave him a big rap afterwards as well, saying now he knows what Lewis Hamilton feels like.
Yes, Lewis Hamilton sometimes has assistance from stablemates, as we saw last week. The question is, how much more improvement has Hot King Prawn got at him? Since we saw him for the first time in Hong Kong, his ascent has been pretty relentless.
That race also showed the dominance, the continued dominance of John Size in the sprint ranks. From my count, the last 10 sprint features here in Hong Kong, he's won 8 of those, and it's continued into this season. We'll have a look, though, at where Hot King Prawn stands up in the scheme of things against Hong Kong's best sprinters. iVictory, Mr. Stunning, DB Pinnell on 128, beat the clock 125. Lucky Bubbles retired, Hot King Prawn 117. Does that suggest that he's nearly there, but he's still got a way to go to really be one of our top sprinters?
Absolutely, because you can see there's a little gap after the top 4. Lucky Bubbles sadly retired. We'll talk more about him in a moment. Hot King Prawn is getting there, but if you ask me to choose one of the two to really take for the rest of the season, it would have to be iVictory. I was massively impressed by him last spring and early summer. And despite that defeat the other day, I think he enhanced his reputation.
I think he'll improve to up to 1,200 metres, and also with that run under his belt. So they were the 2 features, but we also had a very strong Class 2 handicap to finish off the card, and a really good performance from Little Giant from the David Hall stable in what was his first run for the best part of 12 months. Also, take note of the run here too, Graham, of Good Standing, who's missed a lot of racing due to his issues as well.
Yeah, they're the 2 horses I want to highlight. First of all, let's tip our cap to our winning factor colleague, Alan Aitken, who pointed out that only 2 horses in the last 5 or 6 years have defied a layoff of 350 days plus. One is Little Giant, 6 years of age, only had 6 races. This is a really good performance from him, trained by David Hall. The other one was trained by David Hall. So David Hall clearly very adept at horses back from a break. He came home in 22 seconds flat, final split. It was the fastest of 3 1,200-metre races on the card. And as you can see, Zach Purton is gearing down for the final 40 or 50 metres. If he stays lucky with injuries, this is a very exciting horse. And also keep an eye on Good Standing. Only his 3rd run in Hong Kong. This over 1,200 metres. He won a Caulfield Classic over 2,000. Lots of potential for him to keep improving if he gets the breaks with health issues.
That's the big if with both horses, but we know how talented they are. Little Giant, when he was in New Zealand, beat Humidor, who's come out to Australia, won 3 Group 1s. That form line is rock solid. So let's hope both horses stay sound. They're both exciting types. That's the local information then. Looking back at Monday's meeting, here are the lead-up races towards the Hong Kong international races from now until the 9th of December. The 21st of October, we've got the Premier Bowl and the Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy. The Sa Ladies Purse over 1,800 metres. More for horses potentially heading towards the Cup or the Vase. And then the big trial day is on the 18th of November, the Jockey Club Sprint, the Jockey Club Mile and the Jockey Club Cup. So much to look forward to over the next couple of months, Graham.
Yeah, as we said at the start, Monday served as the launch pad for some of Hong Kong's rockets, and week in, week out now, further pieces of this jigsaw will fall into place.
Further pieces of the jigsaw were also on display, if you like, overseas, in Japan on Sunday with the running of the Sprinters Stakes. Hong Kong interest in the race surrounded Lucky Bubbles, but unfortunately he broke down. He'll be retired. He's been a great sprinter and a great horse for his connections. From a Hong Kong international races point of view, though, Fine Needle was the winner. And winning this race, he proved that he is Japan's best sprinter at the moment.
Yeah, hats off to Lucky Bubbles. Long, really honourable career in the elite level. There'll be a good home for him. Fine Needle is pretty much Japan's best sprinter. He comes from an unpromising position to win in really gritty style. I think he's won 4 from 5 in 2018. That makes him Japan's best sprinter. But don't forget, the defeat came at Sha Tin against iVictory and Company in the Chairman's Sprint Prize, and the fact that he was beaten 4 lengths there, Edward, not 1 or 2, beaten 4 lengths with no apparent excuses, suggests that, yes, we want to see him back in December, but iVictory and Co. will set the bar high for him.
His trainer has come out after the race and said if he does head our way for the Hong Kong Sprint, he's a more strong, more powerful horse than what we saw in April. And Tommy Berry, after he rode him in that race in the Chairman's Sprint Prize, said that he's a horse that still has upside. So let's hope so. He's Japan's best. But as you say, he would probably need to find a bit more to be able to beat our best and whoever else comes.
The signs are that he may well have improved. The problem is, I don't think iVictory's done improving yet.
No, agree with you there. Looking ahead to this weekend internationally, and all eyes will be on Longchamp for the Arc. Enable, Sea of Class, they look the 2 main chances, and a great battle hopefully will ensure between those 2. There might be another horse, though, in the race from the Andre Fabre stable that could be a HKIR contender.
Yeah, Fabre wrote the book on how to win the Arc de Triomphe. He hasn't won it for a decade or more now. He's had several seconds recently, and he's got a real improver, an unusual horse in Wild Geese. He didn't look anything flash last year. He started off this season a little quietly, but he's got better and better since, and his latest performance in the Prix Foy was very impressive.
Of course, Andre's won the Arc many times as well, but also the Vase, if World Ghost does come for that race, won it with Flintshire. What side of the fence are you on, though, for the Arc? You in Team Enable or Team Sea of Class?
I'm Team Enable for several reasons. Her form is better than Sea of Classes. She wins Group 1 races for fun, and she wins them by daylight. She wins them by 3.5, 4, 5 lengths. She came back with a bang at Kempton, lower grade race. She's also very uncomplicated from a tactical point of view. There will be O'Brien pacemakers in there. She can just stalk that pace from a low draw. Sea of Class is a very high quality, high cruising turn of foot filly, but she's likely to get well back from a high draw, and I think Enable is likely to get a cleaner shot at this year's Arc than Sea of Class.
OK, really looking forward to being a part of the Arc coverage here in Hong Kong with you for our simulcast on Sunday night. That will follow racing at Sha Tin on Sunday. You can join the trackside team for all of the action. The coverage starts at 12:30, 10-race card. The Chinese Recreation Club Challenge Cup is the trophy race 6 at 3:35. We've also got a really good Class 2 race to look forward to, while the Arc is at 10:05 Hong Kong time. For more information on the local meeting here at Sha Tin or on our simulcast, you can go to the website and also follow all things to do with Hong Kong racing through Twitter. But that's all we've got time for on this edition of HK Direct. Graham, thank you for joining us, and looking forward to seeing what we've got in store over the next couple of months as we build up towards the big day in December.
Always a pleasure, Edward.
Thanks to Graham Cunningham for joining us here in the studio for HK Direct. That's all on this edition. We'll see you next Thursday. Until then, though, it's goodbye.